unfortunately they are going to break up, there needs to be support for people right there and then to look after themselves, you know, to help them through that breakup process. Not in terms of lawyers and law, but in terms of reconciling with the other person or you know, working through their own issues. Not
negotiators, mediators, people with education and deals and, you know, understands because of their education on how to deal with these scenarios to provide an outcome. Tell me, where in law school does it teach you how to deal with the emotions of people in these scenarios and manage those emotions, because it's all emotion, you know, largely. And then, and where does it teach them how to provide an outcome that is going to be quick, efficient, and that will over time slowly repair a relationship for the purpose of what is best for the child? Yeah?
Yeah.
It'd
be good to draw up. It'd be good to draw a big picture of what that system would be, you know, and all the elements. And actually, I mean, I suppose that's what we were talking about. This is not okay, but it's that one part of BetterDads we're working with you guys would have been something to really work towards. Is achieving, you know, even having little pockets of, like what BetterDads is trying to be, little pockets of help for people, so they, you know, not fight, not fucking be so.
To me, it's really simple, mate. I mean, you know. I mean, obviously, there's going to be need more framework about it. But when people break up, you have assets to deal with. You know, lawyers. Yeah, I get that.
That can be out there.
Separate. Put it totally to the side. Okay, you're broken up. So we have assets to deal with. Is there any issues with each other? Is, you know, the father a violent man, or drinking problems, or any of those, substance abuse, anything that could put the child at risk? Or is the mother the same? Right? No. Right. So you go over here. Over here is not a court system. You know, there are no lawyers and there are mediators. There is support from the psychologists, mental health people that will support people through these periods because it's stressful. And the focus will be what is in the best interest of the child always. And through that process, what happens is, naturally, I mean, you know, mums think that their idea of what should happen is their idea, and dads have that, and that's why there's a dispute. So, but we have a dispute resolution process that should be something like, well, if there is no risk to the child, straight away, both parents should have significant time. Straight away. We all recognise, and there's a million studies out there that we can draw on, that clearly both mother and father should have significant time. So why do we have to even argue about that point? That should be the starting point, not the finishing point. You know, it's all the evidence is there. Why do we have to go through a court process to be given that? There's no drugs, there's no alcohol, you've got a roof over your head, and you're the father or you're the mother.
Yeah, and you've taken the money out of it. So
correct. Money sits over there.
Don't get used as porn.
Correct. This is about the kids here. And then that's the first step. And then perhaps through that process, I mean, like I said, you've got to give the parents some education. You need to be able to give them some support through that education process, because it is emotional and different people are going to deal with it in different ways, and there's no right or wrong. Some people are going to need a lot of support and others will be, right, I get it. And perhaps that's the approach. I don't understand why, that should be just right from the get-go. Significant time.
Yeah.
Unless you can tell me any reason why that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
And therefore, that's what's ultimately going to be wonderful for the child.
Yeah.
And isn't that what we're really after? I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
Isn't that the whole point?
Well, yeah, it feels like there needs to be a governing body, I don't even like those terms, but people saying, supporting the parents, talking, communicating, not sending letters, but communicating and helping them people work.
Educating on what is a good level of communication. How should you communicate? Not saying, you're a bloody idiot. Well, slow down. This is not how you communicate, Put some framework around those things. We're all got to learn. It's,
giving people some guidelines on how to behave. I know it's an emotional time and people go off on their own. They've got their own shit to deal with, their own baggage, their own lives, and that is complex.
Correct.
It's understandably really complex. But, if the courts, or the guidelines should be, well, you can't behave like that because you've decided to split up, or this is what's happened. It now becomes the child. You need to be in this manner.
Yeah. We're not considering you now. We're considering the child here.
You're in a stressful situation.
Yeah. But you've got to grow up.
You've got to grow up.
You just got to grow up.
There's counsellors. There's a room over there for you. It's full of all these wonderful people that talk to. Go.
Get some support.
Get some support. Talk to them regularly. You're in that room. Wonderful people over there. And then there needs to be better support about dealing with what you're going through.
There was a part of the court process which was interesting. When I won the last case, part of the federal court orders was that we were both to attend a Keeping Kids in Mind course. A really good course, really, really good. It opens your eyes up. You go, you walk in there, and I don't even know why I'm bloody here. I did anyway. That was I don't know why I'm here. Nothing wrong with me. And of course, you go through the process, and it's a little bit like what we were just talking about. However, it's at the wrong end of the process. It should be right at the start. That was after I'd won my court case, and the judge was smart enough to recognise that there was a communication issue, I feel, and it was smart for him to make us do that. It was. It's probably about the only smart thing that they did do, but credit where it's due. But you go, of course, you go to this course and you think I'm all good, and then you go there and you go, oh, it opens your eyes up. I could have been better here. Oh, that would have really, those comments or the way that I approached that issue could have been hurtful to the other side. So all of a sudden you recognise that you're not that good.
Yeah, that's so.
So and you need improvement. But how do you improve until you the first step is recognising these things, isn't it? So that was a good course. Very good.
Yeah, brilliant. But like I say, should be at the beginning.
Yeah, first stage. Come in, you get significant time, right? First thing you're going to do before we can do anything, you've got to go off and get educated.
Yeah. Why not?
And it's so you got, and the beauty of it is that in these courses that you got mums and dads together. So whilst you're sitting there, it's very easy for dads. I sit at the pub and bloody women, and but here's the thing: when you sit there with these people that you've never met, and you hear their different scenarios, and of course we all go in with one attitude at the start, and then it's very interesting at the back end that the attitudes are changed, but you get exposed to everyone else's scenarios, and it can be a real eye-opener. It's interesting. So it becomes you become a little bit more humble and a little bit more reserved in your, I don't know, your opinions, you know. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, it's just what we need, you know, because you need to see those other, you need to be able to come from different angles. You've got to see it. You've got to break out of that, you know.
And that's what you get tunnel vision.
Yeah.
We all do, I think. Anything in those sort of scenarios is very tunnel vision.